Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. Rabbi Abe here. There's a principle in the Kabbalah about a name. In fact, it says something, I don't mean to scare you, but it says in the writings that the first thing that a person is asked after he or she leaves this world is what their name is. And most people don't know how to answer because they don't know their name, okay? Now that seems very odd because, how could it be that we go through life, however many years that we go through life, and then when we leave this world, we don't know what our name was in this world? Seems very strange. So actually, understanding this as a spiritual principle according to the Kabbalah is a secret that can make the difference between our success and failure in any area in our life. In business, understanding our potential, okay? And that affects us in everything. Relationships, even on our health, it can affect. So I want to explain this as best I can. It's sort of a complex idea, but I think we'll get it, okay? So to illustrate this story, there's a section in Talmud, which is also coded. All forms of scripture we know, according to the Kabbalah, is very deep and coded. Very many coded understandings, messages, to give us understanding of life and how to operate this life and how to make the best of our life and so on. And I'll be going into some of that in the crash course, which is coming up very, very soon. Kabbalah Crash Course, 3-hour Crash Course Seminar, Sunday, January 21st. Go to the website. You can register there. Yes, we have a link. Go to RabbiAbe.com, and you can register right there on the homepage. Okay. So there's a story, again, in Talmud about, there was a very famous sage, Rabbi Akiva was his name. He lived 2,000 years ago. And what we know about Rabbi Akiva, many things. He's mentioned in many of the scriptures, but he was a very, very high soul. In fact, he's considered one of the highest souls that ever lived, higher than Moses and many others. But of course, since every soul has its particular job to do, in this life, Moses was chosen to do what he did. Akiva was chosen to do what he did. And there were many very, very high sages, certainly in that era of 2,000 years ago. Many changes, many things happened. Well, there was a very high sage who had differences of opinion. I won't go into all the details of a story. His name was Rabbi Yonatan ben Hirchinus. That was his name. And he had many very different opinions, and there were sages that were, trying to have him come over to their way of understanding. Anyway, Rabbi Akiva had not yet reached his height of greatness because Rabbi Akiva was known all over the world. And when they met, when this Rabbi Yonatan ben Hirchinus met Rabbi Akiva, he said to him something very strange. He said to him, "Are you the famous Akiva, whose name is known from one side of the world to the other side of the world? You are very fortunate to have reached such a level of greatness without even reaching the level of a cow herder." A cow herder. Now, we must understand that actually Rabbi Akiva knew about what it meant to be a shepherd, in fact, because the first part of his life, it says the first 40 years of his life, he spent as an ignorant individual, and in fact, he was a shepherd. And that's how he started his journey to spirituality, because his life was divided into 3 parts. The first 40 years, the second 40 years that he spent learning, and the third 40 years that he spent as a great teacher. And in fact, he lived to 120 years old, one of 4 individuals of those sages who lived to 120 years old. Moses was another one. In fact, so what is this? It's a very strange story. Again, he says, "You're the famous Akiva whose name is known from this side of the world to the other side of the world. You're so fortunate to have reached this level without even reaching the level of a cow herder. Now, please understand, a cow herder among herders it's more difficult than sheep. What was Rabbi Akiva's reply? He replied, not even having reached the level of a sheep herder. Sheep are easier than cows. What does this mean? So he's agreeing with him, he's saying, I'm not even that. I'm not even a cow herder. I haven't even reached the level of a sheep herder. So how is it you're saying my name is known, and possibly Rabbi Akiva wasn't yet known among, all peoples of the world at that time? But what is this really talking about? Now let's talk about, first of all, what is a name? He's talking about names. In fact, one of the sections of the 5 books, one of the books of the 5 books of Moses, the Old Testament, it's interesting. It's well known as the book of Exodus. Why is it known as the book of Exodus? Probably because there's a story of Exodus, famous story of the Israelites leaving Egypt, leaving slavery. But nowhere is it written Exodus, the book of Exodus. The name that's commonly known as Exodus is an absolute corruption. In Hebrew, the name of the second book, you could probably figure out the first book, Genesis. Okay, you might be able to get away with that, but it's also technically not correct. But the second, absolutely, is a corruption. Shemot in Hebrew means names. The book of names. That's what it means. There's no way around that. You can't sugarcoat that one. In Hebrew, the book of Shemot means names. Does not in any way, shape, or form mean Exodus. So Exodus is a name, Greek, that possibly was given by the Greeks because the Bible was translated into Greek many years ago. But again, it's names. Now, why names? According to the Zohar, this book is called Names because we know within that book are the 72 names of God, with which Exodus was achieved, with which Moses is said to have split the sea. Again, using the secrets of the 72 names. We have a video about that. I'll put it in the description if you're interested to know more about those 72 names of God and the 3 verses in the book of names, not Exodus, chapter 14, verse 19, 20, and 21, where the 3 secret verses are that make up these 72 names, which can help us achieve mind over matter. Okay. But we're talking about names here. Well, what's in a name? What's in a name? So we should know that among the Kabbalists, in the study of the 10 luminous emanations, the study of the 10 emanations, 10 Sephirot, the tree of life, the Kabbalists explain that a name really is an expression. It is the expression of whatever you are naming. In other words, you can say food. That's a name of a very broad term. You could say apple. Now, apple is a very focused expression of fruit. So when we say the word apple, we understand we are creating an expression. I could say something, but something is a very broad expression. I could say food. I could say sweet food. Then I can say fruit. And then I can say apple. So you see how we're giving further and further expression by calling it whatever we're calling it. And it further expresses the effect, the energy, whatever it is that we are describing. And that's what a name does. It expresses the energy of whatever it is that we would like to describe. So we have language, and language is an expression as well. We have descriptive words for things, again, to assist us in fine-tuning energy, consciousness, the broadness of things, because, this world is an infinite amount of different things and words. We use these words and name things to express them. And that's why in Genesis, it says that Adam gave all the creatures names, and whatever he named it, it became its name. Very significant. Very, very significant. In order to understand this, again, energetically, the name gives life. It expresses, it assists to express the force of whatever it is you are naming it. And so we want to be careful what we name things, okay? Because we assign our own expression to something with the names that we give things. We can call someone, I don't want to say, not nice things, we don't like a person maybe, and we call them stupid, we call them idiot. It's not good. Why? Because we are creating this expression on the person for ourselves. Now, that doesn't mean that they are what they are. We don't change their energy, but we will change how their energy is expressed to us. We give ourselves a name. We say, how could I make such a stupid mistake? We don't say it's amazing. Oh, what an amazing thing, because it looks bad. And again, by naming it a negative name, we are creating a negative expression. What about our own name? What is our own name about? Why, again, does it say in the writings the first thing that a person is asked when he leaves this world is, what's your name? And again, the majority of us do not know how to answer that question. I mean, how could it be? How could it be that we don't know our name? We forgot? So the sages explain that the name of an individual is their potential vessel. Our name, my name, your name. It is your potential that you were given to reveal in this life. That's your name. Your name is an expression. Again, the light is a pure thing. It's a pure force of energy. But when you assign a name, this is the vessel that light will be expressed as. So whatever your name is significant. Because, again, our name is the potential energy to be revealed in this world. Do you know what you came here to do? Do you know what greatness you came to reveal? That's a question. Let's go back, because we don't understand the power of our name and even our own power. Most of us come to this life with no clue what we came to do. In fact, how great our soul is, we have no idea. We have no idea, no inkling. In fact, if we would actually be able to see our soul, according to the ancient Kabbalists, we wouldn't be able to stand the immense light that emanates from our soul. Go back to the story. What is this Rabbi Yonatan ben Hilchonus telling the great Rabbi Akiva? Are you the famous Akiva whose name shines from this side of the world to the other side of the world? And how fortunate you are that you reached such a level without even reaching the level of a cow herder. What is he saying? He was giving the message to Rabbi Akiva, which Rabbi Akiva acknowledged. Rabbi Akiva said, yes, not even a sheep herder. He was giving Rabbi Akiva the secret of how great his name would be, but that he has not even grazed the surface of how great he will become. In fact, he did. Rabbi Akiva did become the greatest sage known all over the world, still today. But at that point, he hadn't yet scratched the surface, even in his greatness at that time. What is it trying to teach us? Because all the secrets that are written are not for those who lived 2,000 years ago. All of their stories are secrets meant to help us and assist us in our spiritual journey. How would we be different if we understood that we are supposed to be the greatest soul that ever lived. How would we be different? How would our life change if we understood that our potential is much greater than we can even imagine? And the answer is, it is. It is. We all are meant for huge, huge things, but we don't understand. We're focused on the wrong things. We're not focused on positive. We're focused on negative very often. We don't appreciate. We have very little appreciation for our own soul, for our own spirit, for the understanding. And where does this appreciation come from? Well, it may not be coming from our actions because we haven't reached the level of appreciating our actions because we don't know who or what we are. And that's for most of us. Not understanding and not appreciation. Not why? Because we don't understand that we have the creator force. We have the light force. We have godly force within us. That is our soul. And it's meant to be revealed. It's meant to shine. The first step is coming to appreciate that part of us that we don't really understand yet. That's why, by the way, I'm giving this crash course to help us begin to have an appreciation, number one, for ourselves. Number two, for the creator force that exists that wants to give us more than we want. More than we can even desire ourselves. We're so busy getting in our own way that we don't know sometimes which end is up. But we can clarify these things. It's possible for that to be clear to us, for us to begin to have a true appreciation for who we really are, what we can really do. Because the moment we begin to even think that way, we create an opening. We create an opening for that light to begin to come in. And, as the Zohar says, open for me the opening of an eye of a needle, and I will open for you the supernal gate. That's all we need. A small opening to begin to see and have that light revealed in our life and create that environmental light around us that benefits all the people in our circle, because that's what light does. When you light a match, it's not only you who benefit. Even a small match benefits all those in your immediate area, because when you create some light for yourself or connect to some light for yourself, everyone around us benefits. That's the rule, because light infuses. Dark does not infuse. Dark is only a creation of light being concealed. Think about that. Light permeates wherever there is darkness, even a little bit. We need to add that light to us, to our life, more now than ever before. Be blessed, everyone, and I'll see you, I hope, in the crash course, but very soon in the next video. Be blessed and all the best. All the best.